Hello guys, welcome to this lesson. In this lesson we shall be learning more of variables and data types. So a variable is a container for storing data values. Let me give you an example. Let's say we have a box and this box is a brown box and we want to put books inside the box. So the box is the variable, which is a container for storing our values, and our value, the books, are the values that we want to put inside this box. And what describes the box? We've said a brown box. The brown box. So the brown is the data type. So let's get into that and see what I am actually saying. So guys, this is what I'm actually saying, that our box is a variable. So let me give the variable a variable name. Let's say my num, and we've said this box is brown. So sorry for that guys. So we are talking about the syntax of a variable, and previously we said that the syntax is a structure. So let me, instead of my name, let me just say my variable, my var, that is a variable name. And then we've said the brown, we've described the brown box. So the brown will be the data type. It's called the data type. Then the variable name, we assign a value into the box. So we assign using that sign and then the value. And always all statements in C programming language end with a semicolon. So we have our box. What color is your box? We have the data type. And what do we put inside the box? We assign the value. Okay, let me comment out this so that you can actually write an example. Let's first start with data types. We're going to see the int, which represents the integer. It stores integers, and integers have no decimals. They can be positive or negative. And then we have the float data type, which stores floating point numbers. Decimal points can have a maximum of 7 decimal digits. Why am I just saying 7? Because we have another one called double. This also stores floating numbers, but or decimal digits, but with 15 as more than the float, more decimal places than the float. And then we have what you call the char, which is the character, which stores single characters. And what do we mean by single characters? We mean, let's say A, let's say Z, let's say positive. Single characters are stored in char. Let's learn about variables and the what do I call them? The rules of naming variables. You just don't write variables. There are rules to govern that. Let's talk about that. So rules, variable rules. So the variable naming rules are that the names can contain letters, digits, and underscores, and underscore. And then the next thing is that the name must begin with a letter or an underscore. The beginning must be a letter or an underscore. You can't start with a digit, a letter, or underscore. We begin it with a letter or an underscore. And then the names are case sensitive. Like previously, we learned that our main function is main as it is. If you write something like main, that's another different function with different functionalities. If we declare a variable called A, and we're trying to call it somewhere else and we write A, that's a different thing. it has not been declared yet. Okay, I hope that is clear. And then names cannot contain white spaces or special characters like exclamation, and reserved words cannot be used. I think that is self-explanatory. And for better practice, if we are going to describe a variable, let it be a descriptive word. Like if you're going to write to say, how many minutes do you have in an hour? 60 minutes. That's an obvious thing. Therefore, if you're going to write m is equals to 60, someone who will be using your code might not understand what you meant. But if you write minutes per hour, that is very descriptive and good practice. Okay, so let's get into it. Let me comment out this using the multi-line. That is faster, because anything commented out will not be executed. Okay, let's get into it. This is our syntax, and we've learned that we have data types such as int, float, double, and character. So let's get into it. Let's create a variable. Let's say int a and assign it the value 2. Let's create a character named mychar and assign it the value a. Let's create a floating number called mynum and assign it the value 27.9. Okay, let's print them out. And our output function for printing out is printf, brackets, and all statements end with semicolon. Let me copy this so that you can do that 3 times. Copying, Control C, pasting, Control V, and then we have this. So the next thing we want to learn is how to output data types, variables with data types. We have something called specifiers, format specifiers. Let me write them down. Format specifiers. And for the integer, its format specifier is %d. And for the float, its format specifier is %f. And for character, format specifier is %c. And we have the string, which we're going to learn later on, that a string is an array of characters. Therefore, that's why we do not have that string data type, but its format specifier is %s. Okay, let me comment this out and you'll see where we use these ones. If you'd notice, if we do not put the end character for the multi-line, everything is commented out. So why have we learned format specifiers? Because if we want to output, let's say, our integer a, we'll use the format specifier for an integer, which is %d. Outside the bracket, we put a comma and a, our variable. The next thing, if we want to output the character, %c for the character, comma, and our character is called mychar. Okay, the last one is a floating number, which you have %s, %f for the float, comma, and then we have mynum. I will want you to look at something when we output this, how each variable will be on our command prompt. Let's Control All and run that. You see, it's not readable, and we want readability. Previously, we've learned about new line character, which is \n. \n. For the last one is not necessary because it's the last character. Control all, and let's see the difference. Now it's readable. Now we know that for A, which was our integer, it's 2. Our character is A, and our number for the floating number is 27. Let's say we want to have a 2 decimal points float. So what do we do? Let's see. Just before the F, you put a point 2. We have 2 decimal places. Let's run that and see. You see, now it's better. It's way better. Okay, that's what we have to do. So guys, what if we declare without assigning a variable? What do I mean? So let's say here we have our 2. We only declare it and not assign a variable. We only declare it and not assign. And here we can come and assign and say A is equals to 3. And we have my char is equals to F. Let's see what the output is. 3 and F as we expected. So what if we want to overwrite whatever we've assigned? Let's go back to what we had previously. And our A is equals to 2, as you can see. We want to overwrite it. So we'll just come here and say A is equals to, we want to make it 10. And we want our floating number, my num, to be equal to 13.7, 12.7. Let's see what we have. Do we have 2, A being equal to 2, or A being equal to 10? Our character being equal to A, or my floating number equal to 27 or 12. Let's see. Let's compare. We have our A being equal to 10, not 2. And our character, we've not reassigned it, therefore it's equal to A, our floating number being equal to this. So if we assign it again, it overwrites what we had done previously. So guys, let's try calling all our variables at once. Let me comment out this so that you can actually see what I'm saying. So printf, our output function, semicolon. And what am I saying? So my integer, my integer is, let me just first, and then we have the integer format specifier, which is %d, and then my character is, and what do you have for character as a format specifier? %c. Thus, this is just a random statement. Thus, my floats, they have no relation at all, is, and a floating number, %2.2f. And then what do we do? A comma. We start as it is, %d, the integer, which is A. And then we go to %c, which is a character, and our character is my char. And then we go to floating number, which is float my num. Okay, I think everything is as it should be. Let me run that. So my integer is 10, my character is A, that's my float is that. That is great.